and welcome to Misunderstood, a show for all you culturally and politically misunderstood ladies and gents. We are your hosts.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Nat. And today we're going to be talking about body image, the over-sexualization of women, and the social pressure of trying to look like Kim Kardashian. Yeah, but of course, first and foremost, we're going to start with our patented culture shock moment of the week. Take it away, Kat.
Well, here's a shock. Misunderstood now has merch.
Holla!
You can find it at misunderstoodmerch.com or misunderstoodstore.ca.
CA. Yahoo!
Just to be extra confusing for me. Some of my personal favorites are the hat with the female symbol on it.
It's so cute.
It's just so like now.
Yeah, it is. And you know what else is so now?
What?
The shirt that says assume my gender.
Oh my God, because people should and can assume your gender.
You definitely can.
It's possible.
It's possible.
And encouraged.
And even more exciting, if you buy some MU merch, MUM,
I love that.
you can get 10% off right now using the code misunderstood10 at checkout. So definitely do that and send us photos of your merch.
Yeah, we'll put it on the show. It's going to be
please.
great. So go to misunderstoodmerch.ca. Misunderstoodmerch.com. I'm going to get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
There's too
Just
many
find it.
URLs.
Just Google misunderstood merch. You'll find it.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, let's start the show with our first article, How to Build Your Confidence in Your Natural Womanhood in a World That Over-sexualizes Women. So this is from Evie. You guys know we love Evie.
We love Evie.
So basically, Hollywood has been over-sexualizing
hard word.
women for decades. Goodness gracious. So Jennifer Love Hewitt, for example, in the 90s was only asked questions about her body. Britney Spears was over-sexualized as a young teen.
16.
Exactly. She became a sex icon, I think, And then, of course, recently, even more recently, Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Who recently turned 18, has also experienced some creeps now that she's a legal adult.
Yeah.
So this is obviously not new.
No, it's not new.
It's not new.
Yeah, like you said, in the 90s, there was Natalie Portman, who was super, super young when she came into fame. Beautiful people, but when they're children, it's super creepy to obsess about their beauty and their looks and their when they are about to turn 18. They had a countdown clock for Natalie Portman and for Millie Bobby Brown, and they've had them for tons of celebrities I've seen in my lifetime, which is highly upsetting.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's interesting too, because when you look at these celebrities and when people are, critiquing them, it's always like, oh, they're too much of a slut, or they're too modest, or they're too young looking, or they're too old looking. And it's like, we really can't win. Like, women just can't win when it comes to voyeurs who are looking in on us at any age. It's fascinating.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And one of the things that I really liked about this Evie article, I wrote down that, to me, this is the thesis of the article. Here's a quote. It says, with a society-wide denial of womanness on one side and the over-sexualization on the other, how is a woman to know how to live in her female body and feel comfortable with her femininity? Which I think is we've talked about this before, where they're trying to erase women, but then at the same time you see, like, you go on Instagram and it's all just like tiny waists and big boobs, and it's like, so on one hand we are trying to erase women, and young women are getting double mastectomies and changing their pronouns, and then on the other hand we're like
bombarded.
We're like plumped up sex dolls, and it's like, where is the average woman supposed to fall in there?
She doesn't exist. And I'd argue that that's what the powers that be want. They want us to be confused and miserable so that we will buy more products to make us Kim Kardashian, or to get our breasts removed. Like, they don't want us to be content. And I wonder if it, kind of going back to even our conversation a couple weeks ago about the removing parents from a child's life so that they're a product of the state. Like, we're easier to control when we're miserable.
Absolutely.
And I think that's
that's
maybe
another
the name
quote,
of the game.
I think, from the same article, maybe a different one that we've touched on.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's like, when someone who's discontented and miserable is so much easier to control and manipulate. And from an advertising perspective, I mean, we've both worked in marketing. All you're trying to do is manipulate people into purchasing, or to share, or to recognize your brand. So, like, it's hard to point fingers and say, like, well, where's this problem coming from? Is it advertisers? Is it society? Like, what does that even, like, where is this pressure coming from? And we know, like, the whole Kardashian phenomena, it didn't start with Kim Kardashian. Like, she wasn't around during Marilyn Monroe times where it's like, oh, the perfect female figure. But it's just a weird thing. Like, is it the elites trying to look down on us and say, well, you need to look more like us? Or is it advertising companies saying, oh, you can look like Kim if you spend more money? Or is it governments trying to
I think that's
create synthetic wombs? Like,
I think that's a great question. It's funny because I think a lot of women, when we start talking about this topic, we're like, oh, it's men's fault. Men have done this to us. And I think maybe sort of to an extent, you know, I think that's where it maybe stemmed from. But when you look at Vogue now, for example, Vogue has been setting the standard for beauty for ever. And Vogue is run by women. Yeah. Like I know there are men involved in the company, but the editor-in-chief is a woman, and she has been for a long time. Yeah. So so it's kind of interesting. They set the standard of beauty. They set the expectations. So like why are we blaming men for the, and by the way, when it comes to the over-sexualization of children, I think that a lot of that is coming from men. I mean, specifically Millie Bobby Brown and stuff. It's creepy dudes. It's creepy dudes, you know, who are like,
it's not old ladies doing the countdown clocks.
Exactly. And I'm sure there are some creepy ladies out there.
100%.
Like, you know, we're not putting anyone in a box here.
Yeah, you can be creepy, ladies. You can be creepy.
Definitely can. But I kind of wonder, did we do this to ourselves? I don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of, there's actually a Family Guy skit about, like, cutaway about this where something about, like, Lois, I think she has, like, a porn tape come out, and her best friend, her next door neighbor, like, barges down the door, and she's like, ha ha ha, slut. And it's like, almost like we kind of, not we, but like there is sort of this, I want to see Nat fail. There is this sort of underlying thing, I'm sure you felt it, I think it's called the single white female thing, where it's like you kind of want your friend to fail. Like, I don't have friends that I want to fail. I just don't, I'm not friends with anyone who I would be like, oh, I'm jealous of her, I want to see her fail. Like, I would just be like, ooh, that's a weird, creepy thought in my mind. Like, I'm not going to be friends with this person if I feel this weird competition. But there are people, I've had friends in my life where I'm like, you want to see me fail.
They enjoy it.
Yes, they do. And it's sort of like that is a micro example of this macro phenomenon, which is like, oh, like I kind of see it, we've talked about this before, where it's like, oh, like micro bangs are in style. You guys should totally all get your hair cut like super, super short. And also, you know, have sex with whoever you want, ladies. Like, do whatever feels good. It's like, well, so that they can get venereal diseases and you don't. Like, to me, there's almost like, I'm not saying it's women and I'm not saying it's men, but there is a weird phenomenon with women where some have friends that they don't actually want to see succeed, and like there's
a great point.
It can be extrapolated to a larger society problem.
No, I think that's probably it, because I mean, and it's weird going back to what we were kind of already talking about. Like, we look at Lizzo, for example, and everyone's like,
yeah. And then we talked about like Janet Jackson, and she's like, yeah, Lizzo, you look great. And it's like, Janet, you have 800 packs. Like,
exactly. She's like jacked. But then also we're looking at, you know, we have an article that we'll get to about Camila Cabello, and it's like the paparazzi is like, you know, criticizing her for having a normal body. Like, she's not heavy, she's not anorexic, she just is a normal, beautiful young woman. And it's like, so on one hand, we're praising Lizzo for being clinically obese, but if you're a normal sized person, there's something wrong with you? Like, what the hell is going on there?
Yeah, and there's also the whole like cellulite thing.
Yes.
Where there's, you know, we can talk about the reasons why women have cellulite and men don't on average. I think it's like 10% of men have cellulite, 90% of women do. Yes. But it's one of the quotes in the article, I don't have it in front of me, but it's basically like, what do you, when you see one of those trashy magazines at the grocery, what are they called?
Like a tabloid magazine.
A tabloid, there it is. When you see a tabloid magazine and you see like, oh, like Hillary Duff's cottage cheese legs, how is that supposed to make an average woman feel? Where like these people are like some of the most beautiful, most fit, most rich people on the planet, and they have a couple of dimples on their thighs, and we're like, oh, they're so gross. And I'm like, ooh, like I'm not gonna bend over in the daytime. Like,
I think they're not actually specifically targeting these celebrities to embarrass them. They want us to compare ourselves to them. That's because these people will be fine. They can get rid of their cellulite if they really wanted to. I mean, there are a lot of medical procedures I'm sure that they could undergo. I think it's about us. It's about targeting us normal people who
to make us buy the cellulite cream that Kim Kardashian sells that does not work, you guys. You can't. I read an article about cellulite creams. It's like you can't just put a cream on your legs. I mean, we've all tried them, but really there's only like laser that can really get rid of cellulite.
Yeah, and that's expensive.
Very expensive. Right. And few people are the ones who are going to benefit from that. So it's much easier to say, oh, if you buy this product, or you go on this tiny tea diet, you'll totally get rid of your cellulite. And it's totally disgusting to make those false promises to people, and also create the problem in their head where you're like, oh, I didn't even think about my cellulite. Okay, now I'm gonna go home, look in the mirror, get upset, go online, buy cellulite cream, doesn't work, get upset, think I'm fat because it didn't work on me or something like that. It's this horrible cycle.
And they want you like that. They want us stuck in this position.
Because we're consumers that way.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, as an actionable item, I think what we really need to start doing is getting a better understanding of our actual bodies and finding out what works, to make us more productive and content in how we look, I guess, because like you were saying, they want us miserable. They want us as consumers, but how do we stop this? Like, how do we get to a point as women where we're just content with who we are and where we're at with our physical appearances? Because we're never going to look like Kim K if we don't have the money to.
I don't even want to look like Kim K.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, right. We probably don't, but so many people do, and you can see it when you go on Instagram and you're like, oh wow, is that Kim Kardashian? No, it's just everyone
else.
Yeah, it's just any other person.
Yeah.
And not only how do we beat this consumerism thing, but as a woman, I don't want to feel like a product of this weird sexual culture that we live in.
Yeah.
And so maybe my desire to look so let's pretend I want to look like Kim Kardashian, that desire is not even a real one. It's been foisted onto me, and I'm going to buy all these products to look like that when I don't really even want to, and I'm going to be objectified. And then maybe I get so sick of that that I'm just you know what, I'm a boy.
Right. And then also let's not to mention that the trends change.
We were talking about that just now,
right,
with the sunglasses.
Yeah, so one day Kim K is cool, the next day it's being heroin chic or whatever. So you really can't win.
Yeah, you get butt implants to look like her, and then next month it's ooh, flat bums are all the rage.
Exactly.
And it's
And I think that's the point here. We can't win, so we shouldn't try.
Let's not even play.
Yeah, let's just stop playing their game. And of course, I believe in taking care of your physical health. I think it's okay to dress up. I actually think that it is good for your mental health to put effort into your appearance.
Yeah.
I think when you you feel good when you look good.
I always look good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why she always feels great, guys.
Let's go through the tips on the EV article, because they give you. There's some valuable ones, some ones that I'm I roll.
Yes. Can we pull up the article?
Yeah, let's put it up. There we go. She got it. So, number one that they suggest is to learn about your cycle, which I think is extremely useful.
Yes.
Not something that they even teach you in health class in school. They just teach you about periods and don't have sex. Yeah. And then it's okay, but why am I feeling this way during this month or this week of the month? And why am I feeling this way? And don't eat sugar that week because you'll have terrible cramps. And why are you feeling bloated and angry? Why are you feeling hungry? These are things that can help us understand ourselves.
I agree, and I think part of the reason they don't teach us is because they want us to buy the de-bloating tea.
Not elementary schools. Yeah. Why don't they teach us? Maybe it's just because of lack of knowledge back in the day when we were in school last year. But
yeah, I mean more so as teenagers when we're more susceptible to being influenced. I guess you're right. In elementary school, it's
they should teach us about our cycles in elementary school.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think a lot of the onus could also be placed on mothers to teach their kids about these things because that's the best person to learn from.
That's very
true.
It's
the most comfortable setting.
I think a lot of women don't even know. I think maybe this is
a new thing.
New stuff. Yeah, because I have an app that tracks my cycle, and it'll tell me oh, you're in this phase, avoid alcohol. Yeah. Because whatever, or you might be feeling extra sleepy or whatever it is. And sometimes I'm no, that's not right, because it's not really attached to my body, but sometimes I'm yes, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And also, we've talked about natural forms of birth control as well. Knowing what part of your cycle you're on is also a really great form of birth control, because you really can't get pregnant sometimes. You just can't. So that's your chance, ladies.
Yeah. No, it's true. So I think that's a great place to start. Learning about your hormones and feeding your body accordingly.
Yes,
in
exactly.
Those situations.
Feeling good is going to make you look good.
Exactly.
Instead of just being what can I plaster on myself on the outside? Maybe something internal will actually give you that glow that you're trying to find in a bottle. Number 2, explore the feminine virtues and find ways to incorporate them into your life.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously there are qualities apart from our physical differences that do set us apart from men. And I think that those aren't being embraced as much in modern society.
Nope.
And I think maybe that's why, that's maybe a part of why we're discontent in some ways, because we're not embracing our inherent nature. And we talked about this already with the gender wage gap even. It's like some things just are nature, and for some reason we are fighting that, like fighting those urges.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
Like, well, one of the things on the list is like your it's like poise and beauty, whatever, but like your nurturing attitude. Obviously, some men are extremely nurturing, and that's always going to be a thing. Like Mannies, male nurses, like these are men who love to nurture, and that's okay. They fall outside of the curve where mostly women are the ones who are nurturing, and I feel like our society doesn't encourage nurturing.
No, they want us all to be these like boss biznatches, who are like the power hungry.
Yeah, exactly. Like stilettoing on people's throats the way
never
to the
getting
top.
married, you know, and having babies and wanting to have babies is just egregious to these women and people. But that's a part of who we are, and it's okay if you don't want to do.
Almost like it's propagated the species up until now. Sort of like a trend there.
And it's okay if you don't fall into that. You know, that's fine. Like no one's a monolith, but of course, most people will fall. Or will, you know, be comfortable in that sort of situation, acting on those sorts of urges, you know?
Yeah, and it doesn't make you lame.
No. There's nothing cooler than being a good mom.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
Like cool moms, we need more of those.
Yeah.
I'm a cool mom.
Cool mom.
You know?
Yeah. But
Definitely.
not too cool.
No, not too cool for school.
Yeah.
Like, don't give your kid like, you know.
Ecstasy or something.
Yeah. Don't do that. We'll move on from that.
That's too cool.
Yeah. What's our next one here?
Discover who you are and what makes you feel joy.
Yeah.
So this one, you know, I don't really belong to the philosophy of belief that's like whatever brings you joy is how you should live your life. Like as Christians, we kind of are like that's joy and happiness are not the most
end all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's bigger than that.
I think like be content with where you're at. I think contentment leads to joy, and I think if you're just content with what you have and the blessings you have, that will set you apart from other people, and I think that will just spring you forward in your life.
And I think that's a really good way to combat this like consumerist bombardment that we're getting all the time, because like I feel it all the time. Anytime I go on Instagram, we talk about this all the time. I'm like, I just bought a purse.
Yeah.
Why did I buy that?
We didn't
like,
need it.
I did not need that.
We wanted
but it's like
it,
this weird thing that, and I'm fighting it every third time I close the app.
Look, that's progress.
But sometimes it'll get me. But it's like this feeling where it's like I'm not content with what I have, and this purse, which is so trendy now, will definitely bring me into this new echelon. Like what, Catherine? What are you thinking? That's so silly.
Right, and it's like temporary satisfaction.
It's so temporary.
Right, and I think that's the same thing as we've talked about before on the show with like the sex positivity movement and like hookups. It's like, okay, it feels good now, but what are you gonna do when it no longer feels good? You're just gonna keep having sex? You're just gonna keep buying purses? Like we need to, as you already said, we just need to be at peace with where we're at, and I think that'll really help us out.
Yeah, and for me, a lot of that peace and contentment has come because I've started going to church in the past couple months, and I've like found God, and that has made me feel super content. But that's not for everyone, or they're not there yet, or whatever. So you can definitely find it in other places, family, your work, your kids, obviously that's family, pets, hobbies, yoga.
Yeah.
The church is a great one though, if you want to try it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you are created by God, so you will find your true wholeness in that, frankly. Like, of course, you can look to other things. I agree. But I think those are also kind of temporary. And I think ultimately, like learning about where you came from and who your creator is, like the God of the universe who like loves you, I think going from there is really where most people will find peace. Like wholeheartedly, you know? But yeah, I think to your point, like faith is just, I mean,
it's the word.
Yeah.
It's faith. It's literally like, I have faith that everything is going to work out, or it is how it's supposed to be. So that's like kind of a synonym for content almost.
I think so too, yeah. And I mean, when you have faith, there's no fear of the unknown. You don't need to compare yourself because, you know, you have faith that you're good. We're good, you guys, you know?
And that's probably why this modern culture we live in is so down on faith and religion, because I hear it all the time where it's like, I believe in God, sort of. It's not religious, it's spiritual. I hear that. I used to say that about myself because I did believe in God, but I was like, it's spiritual because I didn't want to say it was religion. Right. Because for some reason that has such a negative connotation now. But it makes sense why they would throw that negative connotation on it. Because obviously there are issues with organized religions. Like you can point to that.
Perfect,
no, of course not. But it makes sense why the big industry, the advertising industry and all these companies would want you to be godless, because then instead of looking to God for answers, you look to your cream, like
or the government.
Like, oh, if I am feeling discontent, I will buy this new purse and have these cheek fillers, and then I will be content and beautiful, and all the pieces of my life will fall together. It's like, well, that's actually religion. That's actually faith that you're looking for. But why would they want you to know that? It's like a secret almost. It's like, it's actually faith. Like,
yeah, it's so interesting just how secularism has really impacted our self-esteem as women and as consumers.
And sex, they've made it so that
it's cheap.
Yeah, like having sex and being sexy is like godly.
Yeah. And
instead of trying to be good, you can say good Christian or you can just say good people. But like if we're trying to be good people, you know, I kind of lost my train of thought, but it's like they put sex on this weird pedestal.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what we should always be trying to look sexy, when we know that, especially as women, our sexiness window is fleeting.
Yeah.
It's small and it's fleeting.
Definitely. And what about the fact, too, that your sexiness is more than just how you look? Like, I think there's so much to say about, like, a woman's personality, a sexy personality, whatever that means to a man, is what they really find attractive about you.
Yeah.
You know, because even when we consider, like, sex on a more secular level, a man doesn't care if you look like Kim Kardashian. He doesn't care if you look like Kate Moss.
He just wants to get laid.
He just wants to get laid, frankly. And I think a part of that attraction is from your personality and your character. I
think that's like the difference between getting laid and having a long-term partner.
Yeah,
where like and young girls, and I'm glad I didn't fall into this when I was young because I had so much good training, but young girls will give their bodies away to any man who looks in their direction because they need that gratification, because they don't feel beautiful and they don't feel powerful without knowing that a man wants to have sex with them.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the biggest pandemics of that women are dealing with right now. And I think going back to our topic of over-sexualization, goodness gracious, let's pick
It's a hard word. It's a hard word.
Maybe the problem is so many young people, especially with social media, are being over-sexualized, and that's why they're seeking out, you know, men and sex, and they're exploiting themselves, frankly, to find meaning, because they were kind of exposed to that way too young. And like, for example, Millie Bobby Brown that's her name, right?
Yeah. That's her name.
Who knows how that's going to affect her in the long run as she grows up. I mean, and we had that other article about Cole Sprouse talking about his Disney colleagues who were over-sexualized at a young age. That's something he never had to deal with as a young man.
But he
in
saw
Disney.
It like destroy women that he, girls that he knew, and he was like, "There's no way to like recover from that." And it's like the language is so dark. It's like
it's scary.
Yeah. Also, in this article, this article, hold on, let me find it.
Yeah.
It was okay. Here it is. This quote. Cole, who began acting when he was 6 months old, added that people always want to criticize child stars for going nuts, but they don't want to address the trauma that comes with fame. What? 6 months old? How can you say that you started like, this is another problem.
Yes.
What the heck are we like, if you want to put your newborn baby in a movie, you're selling your
child.
Baby.
You're exploiting your child.
I rewrote the article title, or the quote, to Cole, who was 6 months old when his parents sold him to the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Like, let's just clarify that. Like, Cole was not an actor at 6 months old. So this poor kid has been in the entertainment industry his entire life. And at least it sounds like he's pretty woke to what's going on.
Yeah, which is thank God.
Big for a Disney star.
Yeah, but I mean, and you know, like as he mentions in the article, so we have the Miley Cyruses, the Demi Lovatos, these crazy girls who kind of spiral, you know, and it's like,
well, what did we do?
Exactly. There has to be a reason why.
Yeah.
And I think it partially stems from being over-sexualized
100%.
as a young child.
Yeah. You never, and like you always have to raise the bar.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, how, like, and we've seen it with Kim Kardashian. Like her outfits need to get smaller and smaller and more tight, and her waist needs to, everything's more extreme as you see, like, it's just like when you say something crazy on Twitter and it gets traction, you're like, oh, well, saying crazy stuff on Twitter gets me attention, so that's why people start, and then you see that thing, you're like, how did we get here? It's like, well, because people love a freak show.
Yeah. No, it's
so
true.
We just keep pushing these poor girls into this, it's just like what happened to Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Like those, you know that story of her crying in like a, like a fast food store, and like the paparazzi were filming her, and she had to get away, and she asked them, please, can I stay in here, and like don't let them in, and she was sitting in there, there's pictures of her crying, and the paparazzi are outside just snapping. It's like, you broke her. You broke her, and then you're like, oh, look what a freak she is, crying in a Burger King. Like, it's so sad. That poor girl was sexualized from 16 years old, and
you really only see this with women in Hollywood, to be honest.
Other than Michael Jackson, who else can you say has gone off the deep end as much as like most
maybe
women?
Macaulay Culkin,
but fair enough.
That's
because of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, they're the minority though.
They are.
So if this is happening to women in Hollywood, Lord knows with social media it's happening to our young women, tweens and teens, you know, in North America. So this is something to be watchful of, I think, because I do think it will have a detrimental impact on young women as they grow up. I mean, there are studies about this, about how being over-sexualized affects, you know, how you deal with intimacy when you grow up, and relationships, even friendships, your self-esteem. You know, it all just trickles down, and I think we need to start paying attention yesterday.
and you know, it's a larger problem, but it's getting worse. It's getting worse, and like women's mental health is deteriorating, and their body satisfaction is going down, where it used to be bad. It was really bad. Like in the 90s with the heroin chic look. It was really, really bad. But there's this article here from Evie, again. Kim K's slim, thick body causes more body dissatisfaction than 90s supermodel stick figures, according to a new study. So they said they surveyed 402 women between the ages of 18 and 25, and participants who compared themselves to the slim, thick influencers experienced significantly more weight and appearance dissatisfaction than women who compared themselves to the thin ideal imagery. So I was trying to understand why.
I think it's because it's impossible to achieve this look without having money to do it.
Yeah, because exactly. So you can starve yourself and you can be thin.
Please don't, by the way.
Absolutely do not.
That's our job.
Yeah. You can starve yourself to look super, super skinny, but you can't make your butt explode at the same time. And I remember even when I was in high school, girls being like, I want a super tiny waist and like a big butt. And it's like, it's only gotten so much worse since then, because now girls are like, you can achieve those in the gym if you're already built like that.
That's the thing, you can't fight biology.
No, you cannot. And not everyone's body looks like that, and that's okay. Like some women in my family have super straight hips. Not curvy women, like hourglass, giant butt, skinny waist thing. Like that's, again, like you mentioned, it's a phase. It's a fad. It's not always going to be the style. And you're still beautiful if you don't have exactly those proportions.
1,000%. Yeah. I think it really just comes down to the fact that we need to start embracing our natural beauty and just owning who God made us to be. It's, you don't have to be beautiful like Kim. You're beautiful like you.
Exactly.
And that doesn't mean we can't buy makeup and wear cute clothes and work out and take care of ourselves and care about our physical appearances. I actually think that will make you a more content person if you put effort in, you know? But like, let's just like chill out here, people. Okay?
Yeah, but I think that's what we're trying to nail down here, which is, you know, probably not going to get nailed down, but it's like, where do you go too far? Like, where's that perfect point? It's different for everybody, obviously, but we're trying to find the balance between being like, okay, I'm a genderless blob who's never going to have children and down with the patriarchy, okay, on one side. And then on the other side, you're like, I'm a bimbo who just wants to like have a man buy me a Miu Miu skirt. Like,
I do want that, but yes, with intelligence.
Exactly. Like there's a healthy middle ground, and that's not always going to be the same for everybody, but that's, I think, what we're trying to talk about now. And like, we're going to get close and we're going to figure it out.
I think so.
It's a big problem though.
It is a huge problem. I think part of it just comes down to what we already said. Just starting with where you're at and being content with where you're at.
Oh, they had some more, no, they had some more like blah blah blah.
Action items?
Yes, action items on the EV article. I'm so disorganized once again.
Yeah, so one of them,
a tablet.
One of them was wellness. So
it's like choose wellness that's right for you. So that's a great.
So take care of your, you know, your mind, body, soul, and spirit.
And also like what we're talking about, birth control. Maybe birth control isn't right for you.
Yeah.
And maybe following your natural cycle and eating more natural foods so that you don't have, because like I've experienced really, really bad period cramps. And then when I cleaned up my diet, a lot of that went away.
Absolutely. I think one of the great places to start, though, is just not rooting your identity and your appearance, too. You know, I think, like, because of social media, it's really hard not to fixate on your looks. And I think, you know, it's so hard. it's even hard doing our job, being on camera. You're like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
What?
We're like, oh my God, my skin.
You know, and I mean, you can see how it even affects these Hollywood actors. I mean, there was another article about one of the Irwin sisters. That's not what they're called. Baldwins.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Alec Baldwin's 26-year-old daughter just had it's like a mini facelift.
Yeah. And
26 years old.
She got it because she has skin here and she wanted it to be more like, and I'm like, you don't need to worry about that.
My theory. Sorry.
Yeah, go.
My theory is that she just doesn't want to look like Alec Baldwin.
Okay, well, I understand that. Okay, he has a lot of stuff going on right now.
Some stuff. You're like cutting ties. I get that.
Yeah, I understand.
Just pull the whole face back.
Just get a new face. No.
Yeah. But 26 is too young for a facelift.
Right, which means
I'm gonna say it.
And even though it's considered non-invasive, you're still doing a procedure that you're way too young to be getting.
And your face isn't even done yet.
Yeah.
You're not even done growing. You're still like a growing baby. And like the thing, remember we did that, we talked about Linda Evangelista and her cool sculpting nightmare.
Yes.
Like who knows what's her name? Baldwin.
The
long-term effects. Like your face is still growing and changing and you're like freezing it. Like what if things are still moving and they're frozen in like an unnatural position and you have like a cliff here? It's like, then you'll just have another surgery.
And that's not good. No, I'm just
You're going to have another surgery to fix that. And then you're going to be like, oh, I need this cream. Oh, I'm going to start my own cream company that tells you, oh, this cream gets rid of your double chin. It's like, no, it doesn't. You had cool sculpting on your chin. Yeah. Like, it's just such a, it's so toxic.
It's a vicious cycle. And I think it's scary that when these famous people who have access to all these beauty products and all these treatments are also still undergoing procedures. It's like, well, then there's no hope for the rest of us. You know?
Yeah.
These people are already, as you said earlier, the hottest people in the world.
The Kardashians.
And they feel ugly, you know?
There's this article from Daily Mail.
Oh, yes.
Khloe Kardashian, the self-confessed filter fanatic, claims her brand promotes body positivity in new campaign a year after she tried to kill candid bikini photos that leaked onto internet.
Yeah.
So that's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
Basically, she has been quoted as saying, Good American has always been more than just a fashion brand. It's a platform for inclusivity and body positivity. And I'm like, says the girl who spent more money on plastic surgery than Elon Musk has on rockets.
Oh my gosh, 1,000%.
Like your whole body is silicone.
She is a whole new person. If you watch the beginning of the Keeping Up with
all
the Kardashians.
All of them but her.
I know. But if you watch the beginning and then you see her
it's
now.
It's like a totally different person.
I think it's a robot.
Yeah.
It could be a robot.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you're body positive
that
except
is such
for
BS.
Yeah, you're a liar. And you're setting a bad example for your daughter, by the way.
Oh my God, yeah, they all have daughters.
Yeah. I mean, what I want to know, we should do a study on them. That's a whole nother.
Can you imagine like growing up in that household where you're like, oh, I'm going through like a chubby teenage period, and they're like, that's okay, you can get it cool sculpted, and you're like, I'm 10. Like, oh my God.
Pray for their children.
Yeah, we need to pray for their children. I just think that is so horrifically hypocritical, and they're all the worst.
Yeah.
But like Khloe.
Yeah, I know. And also like, okay, anyone that sells shapewear and tries to combine that with body positivity, it's like you're so body positive that you want us to suck it in.
Yeah, like put on a girdle that's so body positive.
Yeah, like please. Like I don't really buy
And then there's the Kim Kardashian Skims campaign that had Tyra Banks in it, and it was criticized for highly editing, photoshopping Tyra Banks, who is, as we all know, a super famous supermodel. And the woman is 49 now.
Yeah, and she's amazingly hot.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Does she have the body of a 20-year-old? No, she has Tyra Banks at 49, and she's freaking gorgeous. And they photoshopped her body to look exactly like Kim's body, which is this tiny little waist and these like goat legs.
And it was a body positive campaign.
Yeah, and you're like, and so one person on Instagram was like, tell me how heavily editing Tyra Banks to look like Kim Kardashian it shows body positivity or inclusivity.
It don't.
Like it doesn't. And they're the worst. And this is why you've mentioned this before. This is why we talk about them, because it's like they're out here being like, yeah, ladies, like body positivity, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you guys are absolutely atrocious and we're going to call you out, and that's our full-time job.
That's our full-time job. And you know what?
Someone's got to do it.
It's important because they are influencing your granddaughters, your daughters, your sons even, who knows? They are influencing people whether we like to admit it or not.
Yeah.
So we need to keep a close eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
There's one more item on that EV article. Sorry. producer
round this
Olivia.
out.
We are going all over the place.
We really
and
are,
our
but you
producer's
know what?
the best.
She is
catching
amazing.
up with us. So number 5 is write a love letter to your body. And my note is, lost me there. Now, I know it has it just sounds so stupid.
I kind of take that more as like respect what your body does and can do, not what it can't do. And I think it's more about just respecting.
It's just the wording there.
It's a little bit like, bleh.
But yeah, you're right.
But I mean, we all hate certain parts about our appearance. We always feel like we're not skinny enough, we're not pretty enough, you know? And I think just meeting yourself where you're at and then going from there.
Yeah.
And by the way, not babying yourself too much, I think is really important. Like, oh, you feel like crap, so you're not gonna go out. Well, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, you know, like go out anyway, because you're going to feel fat at home too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's true.
I think that's kind of what I took from that portion. But yeah, it's worded kind of.
It's worded poorly, but I agree with you totally. And it kind of goes to like, just love your own brand. Like whatever your brand of beauty is, like wear that. Yeah. Don't worry about like Gucci. Wear, you know, authentic Catherine, or whatever your name is, because that's going to look the best on you. And this article closes with a quote from Audrey Hepburn, which we obviously have to read, which is, happy girls are the prettiest girls, which I think is absolutely true. Just look at us.
Not to mention, we're gonna finish this segment up, but you know, confidence is key. Just fake it till you make it, okay?
That's a smile goes a long way.
Yeah, like most women, like successful women have just kind of faked it until they got there. Like just be empowered by that, you know? Just go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Be bold.
But keep your tops on.
And keep your top on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Cool.
I feel like we asked more questions than we answered, but it's a good conversation.
We're asking the good questions.
We're asking the important questions.
You don't have to.
And it's an important conversation, which we can touch on again, but we're
going to talk about something else now.
Yeah, let's move on.
And Should we just quickly talk about the Met Gala before we end things here?
Yes.
So we may have lost some of you the moment we said Met Gala, but we just want to talk about this because the dress code was announced, and I think it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be awesome.
Obviously, you know, celebrities are.
It's going to be so good.
But the clothes that they wear, come on, we got to at least appreciate.
It's
the
like
art.
a little Bridgerton vibes this year.
Yeah, it's so good. So the theme is called Gilded Glamour. So
ornate pearls.
Yeah. Basically, it's like the period which stretched from the 1870s to the 1890s. Mark Twain is credited with coining the term in 1873. So I just think it's going to be fabulous.
We're going to wear pearls and corsets next week.
Yes.
Speaking of shapewear.
Yes. Olivia, please order. No, I'm just kidding. Yes. So everything we just talked about, we're going to throw it out the window next week.
And we're going to get fainting couches.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, it's in the budget. Our new set next week is a fainting couch. But yeah, I think it'll be really exciting.
It's going to be awesome.
And when I think it's in May 2nd, come May 2nd, we will definitely show you guys all of their sick looks.
Yeah. There's going to be so much nudity though. You like, oh, I'm wearing like a Versace like underwear with like chiffon, nothing on top. It's like, oh.
Well, we'll see what Rihanna does. That'll be interesting.
Yes, it will.
Okay, anyway, I think that's the show.
Yeah.
I think that's our show. We're your hosts.
I am Kat.
I'm Nat. This show airs every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Rebel News Plus, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already.
You can also always listen to our show for free when it comes out on any podcast streaming network that you love. And then on Saturdays, we post the full show to Rebel News Plus.
No, to YouTube and Rumble.
Oh my God, I feel like that changes.
Yeah, it doesn't. But it does. It could. No, but if you go to watchmisunderstood.com, you can watch all of our previous episodes and some really fun clips. They're great. David Menzies actually loves our clips. Yeah. So, be sure to check it out, and we'll see you next time. Oh, and follow us on social media.
Social media.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.